You know, I don't believe that most Iranians would like to see Obama up talking about Iranian politics every day. Who's the right faction? Who do we support? Who do we not like? What do we want Iran to do? What do we want Iran not to do? We have gotten into so much trouble over the last 50 years telling this to countries. That's our problem with Saudi Arabia, with Egypt. We take a position on not only every argument among Arab countries, but even within Arab countries, we've decided there's certain factions that are good. Okay, these factions that are no good. We got to start pulling back and let these countries mature on their own. We're going to get the result in Iran that we want. We keep our hands off. Iran's politics is going to develop in the fullness of time towards some new system, some new paradigm. But we can ruin that by trying to accelerate everything. Mm-hmm.
Just curious, what do you see as I hate using this word solution, but how to deal maybe with Iran's nuclear issue, and how do you, I guess, what do you think of that?
The nuclear issue, of course, has taken over the whole Iran debate. I would say, first of all, that in order for what we're asking Iran for when we ask them to give up their nuclear program is we're asking them to make a big security concession. Now, countries only make security concessions when they feel safe. The world needs Iran to make a big security concession. The world also needs Israel to make security concessions. But they will only do that if they feel safe. Therefore, it should be our goal to create an environment in which they do feel safe. So that, I think, is a prerequisite on the nuclear issue. But I want to make one other comment on the Iran nuclear project. We've now spent months trying to force Iran to come to the negotiating table to talk about the nuclear program. And Iran doesn't want to do it. I understand fully why they don't want to do it. It doesn't make any sense to expect that they will agree to negotiate with us on the one question that we consider important, but not negotiate with them on any of the questions that they consider important. If you would like to negotiate an end to the Iranian nuclear program, or at least place it under more transparency so that we understand exactly what it is and what it isn't, then the negotiation has to be part of something broader. The nuclear program is going to be just a part of the negotiation. So I look back at the way the U.S. broke the ice with China in the Shanghai communique. That was the first document we ever signed with China. It was actually a brilliant concept of diplomacy. So how do you start a relationship with a country that you've been very hostile towards for a long time? That was the challenge we faced with China. Very similar to the one we face with Iran now. And the way the Shanghai document, the Shanghai communique approached it, I think was very creative. There are no agreements contained in this document because it was too soon for that. Those came later. All it is essentially is a list of agenda items. Half of the communique was written by the U.S., everything that we don't like about what China does. The second half was written by China, everything we don't like about what the U.S. does. And then at the end, there's a joint statement, we agree to negotiate on all these issues, and we will pledge not to resolve them any other way than peacefully. So essentially, you start out with an agenda, everything that concerns you and everything that concerns us, and then we're going to negotiate all of this. That is, I think, a good possibility for the beginning of the negotiations with Iran. And I think if we made that offer, we might get some very interesting negotiations going. At the very least, I think we would set off quite some conflicts within the Iranian regime about, is this a trap? Do we accept it? Are we supposed to? Are we not supposed to? But the only hope for a negotiated end, or negotiated limits, let's say, on the Iranian nuclear program, is to negotiate that along with other issues, including issues that concern Iran. You cannot expect them to give up the highest card in their hand just in order to get to the negotiating table. No, they want to keep that card till they get to the negotiating table and then see what kind of an exchange they can make.